For those of you that didn't see my community post, I have no video today. It's a kind of mix of I need more time, I have more ideas, and it just wasn't quite good enough. There's a set. I either want good quality or really stupid, and it's neither. So instead, I'm going to Q&A and paint a self-portrait, and at the end of this, I'll give it away as well, maybe with a Crunchy or a Twix or something. So let's go. So first question: how tall are you? 5'10" and a bit, I think. Changes every time. Sometimes it's 5'11". If you had a theme song, what would it be? Probably Brian Eno's 1/1 from Music for Airports. If you don't know that one, go away and listen to it now, and then imagine me coming in at the end of it. Right, I'm making pink, just so you know, so I'm going to paint me exactly as I am. Favourite art period or style? Probably the Surrealist movements. Magritte, Carlo, Dali, Ernst, what's that other guy's name? Giorgio de Siqueiro, something like that. Chikiro, I think he's Italian. Yeah, I like the Surrealist movement. I think with things like film and books, I quite like realism, but with art, completely the opposite. What's your skincare routine? Yeah, I knew I'd get these. Whatever James says, I don't know. Okay, so just so you know now, I'm painting this. Yeah, I will do a giveaway with this. You can win this self-portrait, which is really exciting. And yeah, I'll definitely put something else in there. Maybe a pack of biscuits. Don't know, we'll see. Depends how far away you are. If you're in Australia or something and you win it, you'll have to pay for it. Aside from viewer submissions, how do you come up with your video ideas? Generally, it's based on articles or documentaries, or even I still read magazines. So yeah, anything I've read. Usually when I read something that interests me, I like to stop and think for a while. So that's why I'll kind of be sitting there just having to think about what it means in kind of a wider picture, how it can apply to my life. And then I've always done that. So I thought, why not actually make videos of it, of that thought process, you know? Who would you want to be stranded on a desert island with, please? Ed Sheeran. Would you ever do a ghost hunt, or have you ever done a ghost hunt? No, I haven't done one. I think I would in the name of entertainment. If that's what... I mean, people want to see it by the sounds of it. Going to some haunted car. There's loads of haunted stuff around here. I found a magazine article, a local magazine, and it was the top 10 most haunted places sort of in our area. We can visit all of them, find some ghosts. Have you ever had a spooky paranormal experience? I've got lots of these. Sort of like, what's your paranormal experience? I've never had one. Never been haunted, never felt haunted-y, like there's a ghost somewhere. And then another question I'm getting is sort of, do you believe in all that sort of thing? I always go on the fact that maybe I would more if I experienced it. Not to discredit people's experiences, but until you have your own experience, you can't quite fully appreciate their experience. This is looking really nice. Biggest culture shock when you moved to Texas? Honestly, the biggest culture shock was moving back to England after. I just seem to remember feeling really comfortable, even with the whole move there, the whole upheaval. And I enjoyed my time there so much. It was weird because it was still my life before, but everything was slightly different, and I had these new experiences, and just everything seemed weird. I remember sort of living in a cloud for a long time after. I know the deep space images are incredible, but I just like the Saturn and Jupiter pictures. Especially Saturn. There's something I find so fascinating about it. It's so alien. It's like the sci-fi planet. But there's some images where you see the storms on its North Pole or South Pole, I can't remember which. The electromagnetic storms. That's incredible. That really... Because deep space is too much to comprehend, Saturn is sort of... It feels close enough. It feels like a neighbour. What's your take on the conspiracy of multiple timelines? Well, I could get behind multiple timelines for sure. I'm not sure what the conspiracy side is. I need to do some more reading on that. What's the best crisp and why is it pickled onion Monster Munch? No way. If you listen to Robert and James's podcast, the Flubble Flens, I can't remember what it's called. I was on that once and I told the story, but I'll tell it now because it's relevant to pickled onion Monster Munch. I was in college and I went out the night before. My college was in the same building as their school. I'm 2 years older. And the night before we had a college party, I was drinking Guinness all night, so I was disgusted in the morning. Felt awful. So I thought what I'd do is just have something to eat quick, just to get myself sorted for college. So I went with pickled onion Monster Munch, naturally. And then I thought, okay, I'll be all right for the day now. I've had some pickled onion Monster Munch. So we're in the car, I'm in the front seat, Robert and James are in the back, and we're coming to a roundabout, and I'm like, Mum, pull over, Mum, I'm going to be sick. And she's like, I can't, I'm on a roundabout. And then just as she was speeding off the roundabout, I wound the window down and then was really sick. But because she was accelerating, the drag of the wind pulled my sick back into the car, into the back seat where Robert and James were sitting. So they were screaming and laughing at the same time, sick all on their school uniform for their day of school. Mum had to pull over and drop me off in the woods. Well, where I had to find somewhere to carry on being sick and then have a poo. Lots of favourite bands and singers, so I'm going to just say Beatles. And my favourite singer in terms of voice, like what's the voice I like hearing much, is Bjork. What's your favourite dinosaur? Because no one really asks you once you're a grown-up, but what's your favourite dinosaur? Really good question. I like these questions that you'd normally ask kids. Ask me all of them, because that's what I'm more interested in. Stegosaurus. Can you imagine having like big plates out your spine? That's a Stegosaurus, right? I think so. Do you have a hidden talent or skill? Don't know. Pretty good at most things. If you just gave me something, I'd be good at it. Apart from tennis. I'm shit at tennis. And I'm pretty bad at golf. Really good at painting. Did you learn video editing by yourself? Yeah. I just took sort of courses online. There's loads. Yeah, there's some good YouTube ones. The best thing to do really is get a real basic course of the software you're using and then find YouTube videos, just effects. Say I'm using Final Cut Pro, so I'll just put in the search bar Final Cut Pro effect tutorial, and there's so many good ones. You kind of learn it as you go. Yes, I'm wearing pyjamas. Who tells on you to mum the most? Probably dad. Lots of questions about what I do as a day job now, what I did before, and about the podcast, so I'll answer them all in one. Right now I work with Robert and James, help edit, etc. Twin videos, some of James's videos, podcast, and then do my stuff. I didn't realise quite how much effort I would be putting into my videos in between doing their work, and it's got to the point where I can't actually physically do anything else, podcast or otherwise, without completely burning myself out each week, which I don't want to do because I'm also quite lazy as well. You know, I need enough time to sit around doing nothing, but my sitting around doing nothing time has significantly decreased, which is extremely frustrating. No, I'm joking. I love doing it. Love doing what I'm doing now, and I'll come on to sort of my videos and that in a bit, but yeah, I just can't find that time for the podcast right now. Hopefully in the future it'll come back. That's the plan. It's kind of in a hiatus. Hiatus. What made you decide to show yourself after being backstage with your brothers? It wasn't a conscious thing. This was something I was never actually planning to do. It only really came about because people were interested in me through the editing of their stuff and the podcast. So I was on that a few times at the end of season 1 before the most recent lockdown. And it kind of grew organically from that. People were asking about me, and then I thought, okay, if people have some interest, I think I've got something to offer. Like I was just pleased they were doing well. I was never like, oh, they're doing well, I better make a channel because I can get some of their followers. Never would even consider ever doing that. If people weren't interested in me through the editing or through the podcast, I wouldn't have done it. Thing is, I don't think it's ever going to grow too much. Like I'm at 12,000 now, which is really great a number, and I can't see it nor really want it to go too crazy, because I like the idea of that interaction, that discussion after each video. People come back and say, yeah, I like you've done this, did you consider this, or this point was good, here's a way of expanding it. Like people are just bringing something to the table each time, and I want to use that time dedicate that time to answering people and having discussions and responding to your emails and having chats. That's as much part of it for me as the video itself. I'm going to do my face. I've put white in the palette. How do you make brown? Red, I guess. And blue? Yeah. What is your astrological sign? Bonacon. What topics inspire you most when you look for video ideas? It's more of a philosophy rather than the science. I kind of start in the science side and then try and make it more human. Like, science is great in that it's clinical, but I want to deal with the clinical and then how does that relate to the emotional and the philosophical. That did not answer the question at all. What would you recommend on Netflix to binge on? Don't binge. Don't binge. Where are the aliens? I read something recently. It was a really good point that we expect as humans, our minds are so small that we expect a big saucer-like disc to be floating around, going, oh, there they are. When really, if there were aliens, they would have and they could get to Earth. They'd have technology that we wouldn't be able to comprehend, whether it be so small or we couldn't perceive it. So they probably are here watching us, but on a very micro level or a very big level, but we could never pick it up with our eyes or our technology. So that's something to consider. Again, like I always say, human arrogance to assume that if the aliens are here, we'd know about it. Are your videos tongue-in-cheek? It's hard to tell if you're being ironic or crazy in a good way. No, not always. So let me explain. This is something I've been wanting to do because I received a whole load of comments and messages about the simulation video. Let me just do my face. Oh, lovely face. So that simulation video, let me explain it, and then maybe I don't want to do this with all my videos, but I think this one is a good answer to this question. It's not tongue-in-cheek in that I am trying to prove something, but what I was trying to prove is not actually that we live in a simulation because Ed Sheeran told me so. It was that it's very easy to come up with a theory or a conspiracy and make it look real, make it look genuine. So I used a lot of science to build up to a point, and that point was, and here's the Ed Sheeran paradox. But what I was doing is making everyone go, okay, all right, oh, interesting, and then saying something totally stupid. And it's a kind of a parody on modern day internet conspiracy theories. Does that mean I don't believe that we live in a simulation? No, I don't know. Maybe we do. I still think that's a possibility, definitely. But generally, yeah, I'm a sarcastic person. It's in my personality and nature. So there are points where I am being tongue-in-cheek, but also there are points where I'm being very serious. For example, the end of the Meaning of Life video. That was totally real. Getting a new dog. Should I name him Bez or Gaz? Definitely Bez. Where'd you learn your art skills? The University of Life. Should people from the north date people from the south? Of England? Yeah, definitely. Why? Do you think human beings are the most advanced breed of cells in the universe? Not even close. How long does it take to edit a Welsh Twins video? Not long. A few hours if I'm really going to town on these sort of extras, like the bits that flash up. Like I've said, that's what takes the time, all the stuff I add into it. So that fake product launch one, where I'm just cutting out them laughing, really easy. That one's one of the quickest I've ever done. Hello. Do you have a favourite philosophy of mind or spirit that you follow? No, I don't like to sort of narrow it down, and I don't even follow really. I kind of just absorb and then either forget about it or try and incorporate it into my life. Doesn't usually work, but I guess the branch of philosophy or the big theory philosophy I am more interested in is metaphysics, but then also, so in my simulation proof Ed Sheeran video, I use determinism within the free will argument. So I like to use big picture ideas, but then you can also use the more logic-based philosophy. I think it all has its uses within life, so yeah. Good question, thank you for that. Lots of people asking what my heart emoji is. I mean, that's happening a lot. What does it mean? I'm really confused. I'm just a bit confused is all. I suppose if I was going to have one, it would be like I suppose it would be the anatomical one, just like bleeding out. Let's do my hair. Time travel, space travel, or deep sea travel? Definitely time travel. Definitely. I'd go back to Babylon. Like peak Babylon with the gardens. Nebuchadnezzar. What would you tell your younger self if you could time travel? Probably just to calm down a bit. Like, you don't need to look cool in front of everyone all the time. You can just be yourself. It wasn't until I was probably in my mid-20s where I thought, actually, I'm nothing like this. Why am I acting different to how I actually am? So I just became me. That took a long time. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Money is no object. Probably the bottom of the Mariana Trench, so I can get away from everyone. How do you do brown? Oh, this is actually annoying me. What other computer games do you like to play? All the old games, really. I can't really play the modern games. They make me feel motion sick if I play them for more than 5 minutes. That started really with the 3D graphics, so as soon as I got the N64 I was really excited, and then by the first week I couldn't play it anymore. By the end of the first week. Oh, okay, it's gone brown now with the yellow. But yeah, all the sort of classic games. My favourite games are Link to the Past, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6, SNES, all the SNES games. You read ghost stories for Robert and always seem to say that they're unexplained. What are your personal opinions on the supernatural, and are you a fan of horror? No, not really. I think if you were to say it's a horror film, if you were going to say what genre of film do you like best, or would you like to watch, horror's right at the bottom. I don't know why. I mean, modern horrors are all just jump scares and no brain involved. Not all of them, but that has no interest for me. I just don't like being scared at, jumped at. Leave me alone. Let me enjoy the film. But in terms of what are my personal opinions, again, I've heard enough of evidence to suggest probably there's something from other people, but until I see it. So, I'm dying to know the details about the eyebrow accidents. Don't really know with Robert and James. I think they just fell on a stair, on the old stairs in the garden, I think. Mine, I fell on a desk edge at school, year 4. How do you feel about people's obsession with your soothing voice? I'm fine with it. I mean, you can hear it now. It's not exactly soothing all the time. It's just, it can be quite coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere. But I have something in the pipeline regarding voice stuff. I did ask a while back, but I've come up with some ideas now. Oh yeah, education and career background. I think I was going to answer that earlier, and I didn't. I've got a background in engineering, work experience-wise. I'm not very qualified, but I've done engineering work for a long time before this. So that's kind of my thing. That's what I enjoy doing. Enjoy working with materials, that sort of thing. Education-wise, I don't really have many GCSEs. I don't have a maths GCSE, which is what they say you should always have. And it just didn't happen. Wasn't very into learning at school, as you can hear by the way I constructed that sentence. Favourite Disney princess? Favourite Disney princess? What counts as a princess? Would Moana count? If so, yes. What unexpected good, bad points have you discovered from your channel going so well so quickly? Well, thank you for saying it's going well. No real bad. Actually, no bad. It's been all good. Pardon me. Yeah, I think the real good is the comments and the community, the sense of community that's sort of building around it. You know, recognising people from their comments, and that's been good. Also, I've made 50 quid as well, so. Is there any one thing or person that inspires you to be so creative? No. Lots of people. Way too many influences to name, but a lot of people have said this reminds me of this in the comments. I'm like, that's what I'm going for. And it depends on each video. Sometimes I'll take a different kind of approach for each video as well, and think, oh, I'm going to get in the mind of, let's say, Adam Curtis for this one. I was going to say Adam Smith then. What's your favourite kind of door? Do you like a good old-fashioned doorknob? Hard to twist open, but gratifyingly rude. A push-pull that always seems to catch you off guard. How about a simple push-down handle? All substance and no style. That's a good question. I like a revolving door. And that's not metaphorical. I just like to go round in them. I think they're too rare these days. I think every shop should have a revolving door. I'm happy to pay more taxes. Do you put milk before cereal or after? I don't know why it's such a huge debate at one point. I ignore all debates. If there's been a debate online, I won't know about it. Cereal in? No. Okay, childhood story first of all. So, when we were younger, and this is a problem for me to this day, we'd come down for breakfast, and in the winter, the next door neighbours had their conservatory, their extension, that we could see from the table, and we all had our own seat on the table, and mine was always facing this conservatory off to the right. Well, during the winter and spring and autumn times, mainly any night or evening it's been raining, the snails would crawl up it. Loads of them, hundreds of snails, and it would put me off my food because I'd get put off food quite easy by, creatures I deem to be slimy, I guess. Yeah, so I'd sit there and want to eat my cereal, but I'd be like this. Do you remember those little packets of cereal as well? We used to have those, the variety pack. So I'd sit like that. So I'd put the cereal in, put the milk in, and then quickly eat it as soon as I could and then get away. And to this day I eat too fast, and I think it's a habit that I've just built from the snails. And the rest of the family are like, no one remembers this. And I promise you it's real. But for that reason, if I was to have cereal these days, I would, because I don't like it going soggy. It needs to be quick, I need to eat it quick, and it needs to be crunchy, but still retain a slight amount of milk, I guess. So I will put the cereal in first, but a very small amount, put loads of milk in, quickly eat the small amount of cereal, and then I'll put more cereal in after. What are your top 5 bucket list items? What are your top 5 bucket list items? Sorry, I need to remember to speak on my T's. Do a TED talk? No, I'm joking. Oh my god, no. But I like public speaking. I think I'm a good public speaker. Obviously, to camera it's a bit weird, but when I'm in front of the crowd and I can do my thing, I love doing that. So I'd love to. And a few people have been very nice to invite me to do some talks around the world. So I would love to do that. I've worked for a charity for quite a while. I want to do more charity work. Something to make a difference, which is all charity work. I don't know why I said that. Very cliche. Go to Japan, I guess. That's sort of hugely on any bucket list. What were your favourite subjects in school? No, none. Didn't care. All I was interested in was what haircut I was going to have the next week. But the teacher would tell me, you can't have that haircut. One of my favourite stories from school, which I can say without names. We were in a biology class, I think it was. I can't quite remember. It was a science class because we had the test tubes out. And I was with my friend, the person who did this funny thing in question. And he was quite naughty back then. I was disruptive-ish, but not one of the higher echelons of disruptiveness. And he at that time very much was. So the teacher told him off, and he got a bit upset and said, you can't talk to me like that, and left the class. And where we were to the left of the bike shed. So I saw him walk out the block, come round. I saw him walk past. You couldn't quite see above because we were a level below. I saw him get on his bike and go off. Anyway, I'm doing my biology things using a test tube and a Bunsen burner. And then out my peripheral vision, I see him come back. I see his bike get locked up, and then his feet walk through, and then he walks back into the block, and he's had a haircut. He just went off and had a haircut, came back, and then sat down in his seat, and the teacher didn't say anything. Oh dear. And then another one of my friends, who I was talking to him about this the other day. It was good to catch up with him. It was in art, and he's talking all the time. Me and him were just talking constantly. And the teacher's getting a bit fed up. He's like, shh. And then at one point, the teacher goes, shh. And then he starts speaking immediately. And the teacher turns around and is like, stop talking. And then he's having a go at him. But as he's having a go at him, my friend's mouth does this. I'm looking at him. I can't quite believe what he's doing. And then the teacher's looking at him, and he just goes, he stops bollocking him, he stops having a go at him, just goes, "What's wrong with your mouth?" I don't know why that's so funny, but the way he was opening it slowly, and he said after he doesn't remember, he was just not sure, he wasn't in control of what he was doing. Ridiculous. Did you feel insecure or left out as a child because your brothers were twins? No, never. No need. I was very secure and confident in myself. It's funny because people are like, when they watch the twin videos and you put comments on saying things like, I don't know how anyone gets a word in with these two around. I sure get words in. I think we're done. What is your ultimate project? I've got a few. What do you want to be when you're older, or what did you want to be when you're older? Definitely wanting to be an actor or a filmmaker. I still do. I probably will be making a film at one point, even if it's off my own back with my own budget. I've done a lot of extra work in the past as well. I'm a really good actor. Look, let me do a bit of acting for you. So I'm going to do a dog in a 1950s Disney film who's just seen something unbelievable. Hold on a minute, I need to get into character. One sec, you still got to do the process, even if it's just for a laugh. Okay. Dog in a 1950s Disney film who's just seen something unbelievable. Okay, this is not it at the minute. I'm nervous. Oh shit, I've got paint on my pajamas. Oh, it'll come off. Okay, dog. Dog, 1950s Disney film who's just seen something unbelievable. Enjoy. So, I'm done with this. I'm going to reveal it in a minute, but first of all, I'm kind of making this up as I go along. Giveaway, I will give this away. So, the way I'll do that is go to my Instagram, hellomarcuswelsh, and comment on the picture of me with this portrait. Comment on that, your favourite cheese? No. How about something relating to my next video? So comment your favourite type of water, because next week I'm talking about water. So make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, got a bit of bacon about it, hasn't it? Quite proud of that. Yeah? Okay. That's all from me. I'll see you later. See you next week. Thanks for your questions. That's really lovely. Thanks continually for all your comments and etc. Did the camera just go off? No.